I have to edit that.
So that's going around the room, 360?
Yeah, it's going around the room right now, and I could post it on Facebook, and I can wave to it. See, you got two little lenses right here,
Roger.
and it's catching the view straight down. You will see a little bit of a part of the tripod, but very little. You won't even know it's a tripod. It'll look straight up that ceiling, directly above us, 360 degrees. And while people are on their cell phone, if they hear you talking, but they can't see you, they could pan over and look at you.
That's pretty cool.
They can, pan in,
Is that
pan
an
out.
expensive piece of equipment?
Nice.
It was only $3.99 around that region, yeah.
Yeah, 3.5 man.
And then the tripod.
It isn't.
Yeah.
Okay, it's expensive.
It's 279.
It's a nice tripod.
Yeah.
I like that.
So people can actually follow your broadcast. And of course, it's paused, it's not live.
Right.
Phenomenal, yeah.
Can you itemize, if you itemize your taxes, could you write that off as a business?
Oh, yeah.
He writes all of
I'm
his
talking
toys
about
off.
these guys now too.
Yeah.
No, we're not going to go there.
Okay.
We're tax-free quite a bit as it is, and
That's right.
so I don't want to push the deal. I don't mind paying tax. So,
Okay, so if I can somehow get the information, once you
will.
email me, I'll order the shotgun mic. I got the lapel. Oh, and then also the stand with the shock mount.
I can do that.
And this will be clipped to my person.
and don't forget the sock for the shotgun mic,
I have to get the sock.
the wind sock. You need that.
Yeah, I've got the sock for this one.
Yeah, but you'll need the shotgun because it's long.
Another thing I learned about the shotgun too is you really got to have it pointed at the person because it
That's exactly
eliminates
right.
all the
That's
sound
right.
around you.
That's
Very
very good.
directional.
So when now suddenly I'm talking, now that person's talking, they're not going to pick up until I
Right,
do
until you
this.
do that.
That's right.
So with the lapel and then the shotgun mic,
Right,
you
that's
don't
right.
lose any of the.
Right. Perfect.
So when are we going to open? I'm just kind of curious.
Oh,
Days.
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 Yeah.
Days.
We got,
And for the viewing public, they're going to want to know what the name of the radio station is.
KCIW.
KCIW, affectionately referred to as 3C radio.
Okay, people are listening to that right now.
Yeah, and it is Curry Community Coast Radio.
Is this a nonprofit?
It is.
So we get all our funding from grants and.
People would
Grants
rob
and-
at midnight.
and hopefully from local businesses. We hope to get subscriptions.
Telethons,
Right.
donations.
Telethons.
Poker tournaments.
Well,
Sure.
our founding
Fundraisers,
members have helped,
fundraisers.
but we were able to get Meyer Memorial Trust grant
We
in
did.
startup, and that's unheard of.
Mhm.
Meyer Memorial Trust doesn't fund nonprofits in startup, but they funded us. That's how good we were before we even got off the ground.
Now, are we the only radio station that's going to be doing the nonprofit
Yes.
format?
Uh-huh.
In this area, because our broadcast area is 10 miles, a little bit more.
About, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and for example, if you go further south, they have,
K-Fund.
what is it?
KFUG.
And so that's another community-based radio station. So there are a number of community-based radio stations all over.
And for our listening audience here, can they actually, I'm actually doing my Here Comes Trouble show, just we'll kind of improv it, but the businesses can benefit from us as well. So they can expect visits from us, from our radio show, and then,
Oh, one of the things that I'm really looking forward to do is we're putting together a show on economic development. And so anything that is about small businesses and what small businesses are doing to grow their business, to share their ideas, how they're doing things right, what they could tell somebody else, say, for
And
example,
also
another
the
merchant.
importance of shopping locally, so, because these businesses are the ones that support
Yep.
the kids that go out with their hands wanting money for their trips to DC or the,
Yeah.
the athletic teams and stuff like that.
we
So-
love it this time in Christmas season because we get asked by students all the time for sponsoring them. Of course, as being a business owner ourselves, we need those tax write-offs, so we embrace that. We don't just
Right.
do it for the sake of getting tax write-offs. We also like to promote our local
And
commerce,
nonprofit,
our
yeah.
children, and it's going to be really nice. I can't wait to see it.
So what most people don't understand, the public, we have to explain to them, is nonprofit radio station means we cannot sell advertising
Right.
to businesses.
Right.
So we have to fundraise, get sponsorships, telethons, things like that.
Underwriting,
Poker tournament.
grants,
Right.
poker tournaments. Oh, poker tournaments.
So if we-
Uh-huh,
So if we did an interview that ran kind of long, we could edit it down
of course.
to an interesting program.
You know,
But I can't wait for the live, where you actually get people on there asking
Man on the
questions
street.
about real estate. And they call in, they can ask questions.
we got a call-in feature that we can purchase, and as long as we have profanity delay,
It's on the
Right.
wish list.
Yeah.
yeah, and pretty high on the wish
Because
list.
when
Pretty
you
high.
go live, you could get some language, that would be
Yes.
FCC
So-
inappropriate.
And well, oh yeah, if it's going live, you can't really edit it out.
Yeah, because you stub your
That's
toe,
why you
you don't
have
know
the
what's
camera.
gonna come
Yeah,
out.
yeah,
Now you have
And the other
7-minute
person's
delay.
mouth.
And it's really interesting. This device is rather expensive.
Mhm.
However,
It wouldn't,
due to the magic of
the way
electronics,
that the FCC
it's delayed,
rules are
okay,
and nonprofit
but you
rules
can't
are,
hear it in the
it's-
broadcast.
Right.
It just takes.
So, you
Very
have,
similar.
what,
it's not that
5
big a
seconds,
difference, but
3
you have
seconds,
to
or whatever to push the
split
button.
that hair in their conversation.
And they're out of there.
because
Now, is that radio show host
You want
going
me
to
to
have
send
somebody
you
that's
the
going
numbers?
to have calls in standby so they can ask the questions? What would you like to talk about?
Yes,
Is it
It's
radio
very-
specific rules?
yeah,
Because,
the
like,
lead,
FCC,
somebody is
yeah.
working the telephone.
well, I know, but public
Somebody
television,
is
for
working
example,
the,
they have advertising,
technology.
they're still nonprofit.
And then, of course, the host.
Right.
And then still have.
Now, we always going to be looking for
consideration
volunteers that
from
want to come in, like
corporate
students.
Absolutely.
Students that want a career in
If it's
radio.
done
Could you
as a
imagine? They'll do an
sponsorship, and those
internship.
It's a
sponsorship
good place to
benefits are
start.
predetermined.
Hands-on
you
is
know,
Oh,
always
okay, well, that's what I'm
better.
talking about,
Yeah,
like, you
yeah.
can take corporate money.
Mhm.
Yeah,
You learn the
Yeah.
technology and
yeah, it's real
you get to
simple.
observe it, and then they can take
You,
that from their
advertising, you
put
pay
that
for
in their,
spots,
Their resume.
resume. thing.
underwriting, you pay
And that's gonna help
for
them go.
sponsorships.
Sure.
It's just,
They could even take on a show, and then with that experience, move on to bigger.
Well, high school students need to
It's
do
the
a
way
certain amount of
nonprofit
community
laws,
service,
isn't
and this would be a good place for them to get
but
that.
FCC
Well,
too.
another thing is it really helps if you show up with a demo reel.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that.
John, I wanna,
Didn't
I hate
CR
to interrupt, but Charlie asked me a question
communications
about why can't
class
we
on campus down there?
call
They
something
may have one at the main
advertising, or why
campus. I
can't
don't
we?
think they-
Well,
Because of the,
There is a fine line. I have spent hours of my life that I'll never recover learning where that line is. And let me tell you something. It's about as ambiguous as you can imagine a law could be.
I'm well aware of.
Basically, what it means
He's
is
an
we
attorney,
we
so he
cannot,
knows
we
that.
can't advocate. That's the difference. You can say, Grunion's food store sells the finest produce in the land. That reaches the edge of it. And it could be construed as passing over. And the other thing is that this kind of complaint is handled on a case-by-case basis, and it's not uniform, it's not logical.
Yeah.
It depends on how good your lawyer is.
But you could go along the same line and you could use a business and say, we'd like to thank so-and-so and so for
Absolutely,
sponsoring.
you can do
Yeah.
that.
For doing
Yeah,
that. That's how
also-
you get there.
You
But-
also
but
can
you can't-
describe what the business does, but you can't advocate for it. It's
you
a
can't
whole
say, come on out and
That's right.
unless you're doing a live remote, you can't.
Well, no,
You can
I-
say, we're
Come
doing a
to where
live
we're doing a
remote
live
from
remote.
there.
Yes, come on down and watch our remote. You can
Yeah.
say
Yeah,
that.
but you can't say, come down and buy a car, or buy a house,
No, you can't
buy
do
it,
that.
or.
Okay, so I've got a question. Let's say we're doing that community development thing and we're interviewing a business and they're telling us how they're supporting the community and the efforts of everybody.
That's
I don't
all
know.
And we
it's
say,
about.
well, this is a great business to support because they support our community.
That's right, let them blow their own.
See,
horn.
that's-
Yeah.
They can say that, you can't.
Ah,
There you go.
so we just set it up ahead of time.
Well, yeah, yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
It's either that or it winds up on the floor.
Yeah, they would have to get some,
Or if it's
Some
live,
understanding
then,
of what they
then,
can
then you
say.
cross the line and you could be in, if somebody's
Right.
paying attention. But the bottom line is, it's just language, use the right language. You can't advertise, it's sponsorship or underwriting. And underwriting usually is associated with a foundation, but any corporation can underwrite, it's basically the same thing.
Well, any corporation
Sponsorships
can
usually-
sponsor too, I mean.
Yeah, sponsors usually expect a sponsorship benefit, underwriters don't necessarily.
The benefit that sponsors on public radio entail is basically announcing that we're grateful for this, right? And this business does these things. You could say that, that's fine. Apparently, people are willing to pay the big bucks just for that acknowledgement. Nobody I know, of course, but.
Well, they like the association.
Yeah.
You'll get a sponsor because they want to be associated with the people that are your listening audience, usually.
Well, and a donation is a tax write-off. That's
Yes.
an
Now,
important
since we're a
thing to do.
nonprofit, we're not really technically gonna be competing with other radio stations.
No.
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 No,
Right.
the other radio station here thinks we are competing with them.
Oh,
And I really think that's coming more from
I-
management ownership
Of
than
course it
the
is.
local personalities.
Oh, I
Yeah, the
don't think the local
personalities,
personalities have any problem with it.
Right.
In fact,
well,
when we do the community booth, and it's
No one
KCIW's there and so forth,
Well, it is.
Steve Braun comes right over and talks, and he's actually offered that if there are some issues that we needed to learn a little bit more about FCC, that he could help us. So what I'm saying is
Oh,
they're
nice.
good neighbors
right.
in the broadcast world. They do a lot, and they do